I'd like you to speak, if you were misquoted, I'd like you to speak a little bit about what it sounded like you were saying previously, was that it was appropriate for you to make more as a legislator than the average teacher makes in a full year of salary. It sounded like that was what you were saying. I'd like to hear you talk about that a little bit.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you asking for clarification. And so often I don't get asked. I simply get crucified, it seems. But in that message, or in that meeting, it was a legislative prayer breakfast, where my desire, my intent was to bring the community together and prayerfully consider the things that the state was facing and discuss needs in the state and encourage that community and fellowship between state officials and the church, so to speak. And it was sort of sabotaged, okay? And but nevertheless, my underlying theme in that was balance. There again, I've preached balance for years and years, as I found it in the Scripture and studied it, and applied it to tried to apply it to my life in regards to time and money and etc. So biblical principle was referring to balance, and how the Scripture bring out is God weighed the hills and the mountains on a scale. And I asked the question, whether I'm with a Sunday school class or group of people, whatever, why do you think he measured or weighed out the hills and the mountains on a scale? And my answer to that is I think it's because he knew he was going to be spinning it real fast and it needed to be in balance. We have to balance the budget in the state of Alabama. It's in our Constitution. And thank God that it is. I wish it was on a national level. But nevertheless, so the underlying theme of that message, when I referred to biblical principle, was referring to balance. Okay? And I said a legislature's pay needs to be in balance. You don't want to pay them too much, and you don't want to pay them too little, because I believe both can lead toward corruption. Okay? And likewise, I believe that I pointed out in that meeting was that I believe an educator's pay needs to be in balance as well. It needs to be in balance in regards to the economy. It needs to be in balance in regards to the workload, to the divisor. Time spent after hours, and etc. I would love to see a system somehow. I don't have the answers to this, but I love to see a system in place where good teachers could be rewarded. I know that hasn't proven to work in times past, but I was really amazed. In which I'm new in politics. I was very politically unlearned when I felt like I needed to run for this position. And the Lord blessed me and allowed me to serve. And I was very surprised at the number of people who emailed me and claiming to be Christians also. And before asking, is this what you said or is this what you meant, they simply just dropped the axe on me. So,
well, and that's what I didn't want to do, but I still don't think you answered my question, which was this: is it accurate to say, and if it's not, please let me know, okay? But it sounded like it was appropriate, from your perspective, for you to make, as a legislator, which is a part-time job, more than the average teacher makes in the state of Alabama for a full-time job educating our children.
Absolutely not.
Well, and let me explain to you why it sounds like that. Because what I heard, and again, tell me if the reports were wrong, okay? But what I thought I heard was that we should not raise teacher salaries. And where they are right now, I think we can all agree, the average teacher salary is below the wage that a senator receives for their 3 months of work in the legislature. What you said is it would be inappropriate to raise that salary, but that the current legislative salary was appropriate and needed to remain the same. That, to me, says that the current salary structure, whereby a senator makes more than a teacher, is appropriate. Am I wrong about that?
Okay. I can assure you, you did not hear me say any of that, even in the reports that you read, okay, that was persuaded to, or suggested. I mean, what I did say is simply what I told you earlier. First of all, they gave the raise, and I'm being, hit a lot for voting myself in a raise. Okay, the raise was voted in 2007. Okay, and prior to that, they had not had a raise. The legislators had not had a raise for 16 years. Okay, legislators do not receive insurance, nor retirement, or any other benefits. Okay, now especially after passing the strong ethics bills that we passed, We pay for our room and board and our eats and et cetera. And it's not to defend our pay. This is just simply stating the facts. Okay, I'm stating the facts to you. I don't think we want to create an environment where only the wealthy can run for state office. So whatever that pay may be is what I'm willing to accept. Okay, and if I was a wealthy man, I wouldn't want to receive a pay at all. Okay, I would want to be on the governor's team in regards to that, and some of the other senators that cut their pay tremendously. I wish that I could afford to do that. Matter of fact, I'm for part-time hire. Anyone hired? So, no, sir, I did not indicate none of that. I simply tried to give some facts and details as to a lot of people that called me, teachers called me, addressing this issue. I'd ask them, I'd say, well, how much do you think a legislator makes? And it was always between $75,000 and $150,000 they thought we made. But they're generally shocked when they find out that we make about around $50,000. And they're generally shocked to find out that we don't get any insurance. My insurance costs me $750 a month. You know, I have the farthest drive to Montgomery. You know, so I'm simply listing the facts because so many people don't know the facts. And I would love to give teachers a pay raise. I have mentioned that several times. I interviewed with 1931 and 48 after this all came to surface. And on every one of them I said, I would love to see teachers be able to get at least a cost of living raise. I voted myself down on the cost of living raise that we were offered last year. I declined it. Okay? But, you know, I've stated that to the media time and time again that I like to see teachers get a raise, at least a cost of living raise, but I've never seen it aired on TV or in the paper. You know, so
Well,
a little one-sided there.
Well, no, and I understand, and I agree with you that it should not be a situation where only wealthy people can serve in the legislature. I think what, at least from the reports that I read, I found alarming was that there seemed to be a suggestion that a calling to teach was sufficient and that we should not be rewarding our teachers with a salary that's competitive in order to try and bring in some of the best and brightest to that profession. We already have some of the best and brightest in that profession, but they're struggling, and they shouldn't have to struggle that way, especially when they're dealing with a full-time job as opposed to a legislative job, which is 3 months out of the year. It seems fair to me that they ought to make at least as much as a legislator, but I mean, and I guess I'm just looking for a commitment from you to the notion that at the very least, the average teacher salary should at least be as high as the average legislator salary.
Do you know what the average teacher salary plus benefits is?
Plus benefits, I do not know. It's $46,000. It's $47,000 as of 2009 was the average Alabama salary for a teacher.
Okay.
Now, as far as whether or not there's benefits, again, you're comparing apples and oranges if you're talking about legislators not having benefits, because there's 9 months out of the year where you don't have to be in the legislature.
Okay, if you think I need to stop defending myself. I don't want to be up here.
And I'm not looking for you to defend yourself.
I ran for the position.
To
I'm willing to accept the position if the pay was zero. Okay, I believe God placed me here for a purpose, and I'm really willing to accept what comes with the package, so to speak. Okay, I'm willing to expose myself to questioning, and then later being misquoted in the media. Not saying that you guys do that. I believe you guys do a good job, but I'm willing to expose my vulnerability here to answer these questions. Okay, but let me state my point that I stated back then. That is my view in regards to that, and let you be the judge. You asked the question. You'll ask the question if you could restate that again for the audience, please.
I'm sorry?
Your last question that you asked me that I have not gotten to answer yet, would you restate that for the audience?
Which is that if we can agree on the basic principle that teachers in this state should at least make as much on average as our legislators do, given the fact that they're working 9 to 12 months out of the year in a teaching job as opposed to 2 to 4.
I would love to see our teachers be Alabama's teachers be the best paid teachers in the nation. And I'd love to see our rankings up there among the best as well.
Okay? I sense a but coming.
I'm for growth. Do what?
I sense a but coming.
No, there's no but.
Okay.
This is my perspective.
Okay.
I'm for teachers having a pay raise, and at least, like I said, even if we have to go to the extremes, I mean, at least for teachers having a cost of living raise. This, what has it been, 5 years or so since teachers have had a cost of living raise? They need that cost of living raise. The teachers need a voice. I've said that many times. I don't agree with the strategies and the tactics that your association uses, or that some of your associations use, the AEA. I don't agree with their tactics and their strategies, but nevertheless, teachers need a voice. They need an association.